Up, let's keep pushing. Let's keep pushing. I want to talk about wasting time when starting a business here in Africa. What I've seen works and what I've seen does not work. Let's get right into it. Minimal editing in my videos. I'm just going to deliver as much value as possible. And it's going to feel like a live, but it's not. Give me some time. I want to start doing lives soon. Give me some time. I got a couple of things I got to set up to make sure the live is going to be on point. We're going to have a good time. Let's get into it. When you live in the diaspora, like I did for 25 years, you notice a whole lot of things. And when you notice a whole lot of things, you start to identify patterns. Patterns in behavior, patterns in people, patterns in how things go. If you're young, what I mean by that is if you're in your early 20s, you're in your mid 20s, late 20s, 30s there, or even 40s, there's some things that you are still doing that are holding you back from getting to the next level. Maybe you've always wanted to start a business. Maybe your dream when you went abroad was to save up enough money and then hopefully one day come back home, I don't know, maybe you're from Burkina Faso. Yeah, let's use Burkina Faso. By the way, shout out to Check in Effect. Check in Effect did a series of videos on Burkina Faso. Bless up, King. Thank you so much for going to Burkina Faso and showing us how it's doing over there. So let's say you're from Burkina Faso. And I used to have a bunch of people that I used to hang out with in New York from Burkina Faso. That's how I know about Burkina Faso. There was this really nice lounge that I used to go to. It's an African-owned lounge in Harlem, New York, called Shrine. The owners of that restaurant or lounge are from Burkina Faso. So I'm very familiar with their struggles for many years. When we used to hang out, they would tell me stories about how things are bad in Burkina Faso. And I'm like, damn, things are that bad over there? And they're like, yeah, brother, yes, brother. I think they speak a little bit of French, I think. Yeah. They'll be like, yeah, brother, so where you from, brother? And I'm like, I'm from Zimbabwe. They'll be like, oh, Mugabe. I'm like, yeah, that's the OG. Bless up to the OGs. By the way, no matter how you feel about that man, put some respect on his name already. Anyway, I digress. So, be like, hey, Mugabe. To the point where I used to even make fun of the situation. I'd be like, yeah, that's my uncle. You better not fuck with me. Then they'll be like, okay, brother. I don't know if that's how they sound, but, Let's hear from Burkina Faso like those guys. They started off something nice in New York, nice lounge, and they started making some money. Maybe one of them, there were two brothers, maybe one of them really wanted to build a mansion in Burkina Faso, in Ouagadougou. Because I think during my conversations, one of them brought it up that, yeah, one day I do want to go back home and do something cool. So I know at the back of his mind, like many immigrants, we all have this dream. I don't think those guys wasted time, but a lot of other guys wasted time. And they're still wasting time. See, I'm in my 40s now, and I've seen these patterns where somebody will say something, but they never follow through on it. And I used to wonder, like, why does this keep happening? Why do people keep doing this? It doesn't add up. You say you want something, you say you want to do something, but your actions don't match what you say. Like, things are not adding up here. This is what you want. You're saying this is what you want. But this is not connected. they say, in the hood, they say shit ain't adding up. And I realize it's because of a couple of things. Number one, hanging out with the wrong crowd of time wasters. Usually this wrong crowd of time wasters are drinking buddies. See, in the West is very lonely. It's very lonely. It's a lonely place. You're just grinding up all by yourself. You got no friends. Nobody wants to be friends with you. So after a while, you say, you know what? I need to just get out there, man. Go to the local spot. Even if I'm not, doing anything, let me just go to the local spot, listen to music, and just hang out. And before you know it, you're meeting a different group of people, of time wasters. People that are just talking a big game with no follow through. I am not saying that hanging out with your buddies is a bad idea. It's a bad thing. No, it's not. In fact, that's how you really get to get a lot of information, helpful information. When I needed information on how to survive in New York City, in Harlem, I would go to the Shrine and just listen, pay attention to the OGs when they were talking, soak up game. And I would learn so much. There were OGs that were bitter. There were OGs that were alcoholics. There was this other OG that told me, I'll never forget this. I'll never forget. I'll tell you a story. There was this block, because New York it's a very dense city. So they would have these blocks. A block is just a collection of buildings and then divided by streets, right? So if you watch movies about New York, you know what I'm talking about. And then I used to live next to a building where a bunch of guys used to sell weed. And I think some other drugs. And I never bought from those guys, because I'm going to do another video on rules of engagement. When you're hustling out here, because they're rules of engagement, how to survive any game. When you're living in a neighborhood like that, where people, so you got to move correct. Same thing in business, you got to move correct. Anyway, in that building, there was this OG who had those little scooters. In America, guys who are disabled or whatever, they're given these mobile scooters where you sit, maybe you're paralyzed, you got a leg issue, then you can scoot around the neighborhood in this little scooter thing. That is actually a wheelchair. So I would always see this guy outside of his building, next door to mine, and he was always there. And then he never talked to anybody. This guy looked like a zombie. So one day I was curious. I was hanging out with another guy, another Black American guy. And that Black American guy told me a story about him, the OG in the wheelchair. He said, you see that guy over there? And I said, yeah, that guy's so weird. He's always out there on his thing. He never talks to anybody. Every time I pass him, I say, what's up, OG? He never says anything. What's up with him? Because me, I'm trying to get along with everybody. I didn't know. I'm not from that neighborhood. And this guy said, that OG was the drug kingpin in a 10 block radius of where we lived. He was a kingpin in that neighborhood. And the reason why he's in that wheelchair is because he got shot in the mid-90s or whatever. And then he became paralyzed, from the waist down, so he couldn't hustle anymore. I was like, damn. And this was like 2007 there, when I got that story. So that guy was probably in that situation for like 10 years. And you could tell he had no soul. when I saw him, he looked like he was in his 60s when I saw him. And that means when he got into that situation, he was probably in his 50s there, 40s. So I thought, okay, all right, it's unfortunate what happened to him, because it could happen to anybody. But I later on learned that the building that he was in, that was government housing, those are projects. Then I was like, what? But you were the drug kingpin in the neighborhood, and you're still living in the project? Yeah. Guys, when I heard that story, I knew I cannot waste time in life. What you have now is not guaranteed. What that guy had, even though it wasn't legit, whatever, he thought it was going to last forever. He thought hustling and selling drugs were going to last forever. He didn't have a game plan. Or if he did have a game plan on how to exit, he was probably wasting a lot of time. Because what a lot of these guys like to do, unfortunately, they like to just chill on that corner. And you've seen it on TV, shows like The Wire. Go watch The Wire. It's an old show on HBO. Go watch it. And you start to understand how that whole system works. Because I lived in it for 10 years. I observed it. So what these guys like to do is just hang out, smoke and drink, right? And hustle. And very few of them learn new skills outside of just selling weed and hustling. Very few of them. Even in this era, you would think that somebody who's hustling and everything, and he lives in the projects, because government housing in the projects, it doesn't cost very much to live in them, right? It's quite cheap. And you're telling me you can't get like a router, Wi-Fi, and learn new skills when you're not on the corner? Because you're not hustling 24 hours. Maybe you might hustle for 12 hours, then you got to go back into the projects. You're telling me you can't get a simple router, learn new skills on YouTube, maybe learn how to do something online? Of course you can, but they don't do that. Because it's almost like a hand-to-mouth existence after a certain point. So there are plenty of people that came out of those dire conditions. Plenty of them. Including some of the most successful rappers that you guys know, the old school ones. Plenty of them came out of the terrible conditions like those. The reasons why they were able to get out is because they never wasted time. There are a lot of people that are wasting time on things that don't matter. Things that don't get you to the next level. If you're wasting time on things that don't get you to the next level, you already lost the game. Every minute counts. Every single minute. You're breathing like this. Oh, just know. Oof, ooh, ooh. It's time to go in. Sometimes, like, when I wake up and I look at some of my goals, I panic. I'm like, eesh, oh my goodness, that looks scary. It's scary. It looks scary. If I showed you my goals, which I won't, if I showed you my goals, you'd be like, man, aren't you scared? Yeah, of course I'm scared. But if your goals and your dreams don't scare you, listen, you're not working hard enough. You're not putting in enough work. You're not applying enough pressure. You're going to be out here applying pressure and not wasting time. And be like that OG, my neighbor over there in Harlem. Because if he had stopped wasting time, he would have learned maybe a new skill to get him out of that. And it doesn't take very much, by the way, learning a new skill. Most people think that learning a new skill, you have to do it all in like a week. Then you all of a sudden you got a PhD. No, it's small gains. I learned how to speak Swahili from just listening. And I'm not fluent, by the way. I'm not fluent in Swahili, but I learned how to speak Swahili from just paying attention to what people are saying and then asking if I'm saying it the right way back and forcing myself to learn it. Now I'm going to have to formally find somebody to teach me so I become fluent out here. So nowadays I can tell, I can hear when somebody's trying to play me. I can hear it. A full conversation. Now responding is quite difficult, but everything else I got it. But it took years though. Fortunately, I'm married to a Tanzanian, so that's good. So she teaches me. But listen, still took me years because I'm a bit slow. One word here, one word a day. Learn one word a day. Same thing for you guys. When you're out there hustling, grinding, yes, I know you got a 12-hour shift. I know it. Maybe you're an RN, you're a nurse, whatever. I know. Or maybe you work security and you're 12 hours clocking. Yeah, I know. I know who does it. Maybe you're working like, I don't know, it's a manual labor job. And you're just like beaten down at the end of the day. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know. You don't think we've been there? We've been there. We've all been there. But you gotta keep pushing. You gotta set aside even just 15 minutes. Just learn that one skill. Maybe that one skill could just be like, hey, today alone, I'm just gonna go on YouTube and do my research on this poultry farm that I've been trying to start up in Africa. By the way, I got a video that I'm gonna drop soon on poultry farming. So there is a way that you can still navigate and be able to retire early. Because there's so many people that are stuck in the US economy right now. They're reaching retirement age or they're already retirement age and they're in panic mode. They're panicking. All these immigrants, African immigrants, they're all in panic mode. They're like, my goodness, I'm 60 years old, I'm 65. I can't get a job anymore. There are no job opportunities over here in the UK that will hire 60-year-olds. No shit. No shit. They're not going to hire a 60-year-old. If they can hire a 25-year-old or 30-year-old who's got more energy than you. The game is cold. The game is so cold. What I've seen with a lot of these OGs, they're not even OGs. They're older people. A lot of them, I promise you, they're not as smart or as advanced as you might think. Wisdom is learning from other people's mistakes and knowing what not to do. That's wisdom. So if you're out there in the UK, US, Germany, Europe, Australia, look at what they're doing. Is it working for them? Too many immigrants I see continue to rack up debt through the student loan thing, taking on student loans. It's okay to take on student loans for some fields, but don't overextend yourself. Don't overdo it. Because it hasn't worked for people that are older than you. It hasn't worked for them. What makes you think it's going to work for you? What? You're special? Oh, I forgot. You're more special than the rest of us? Oh, I didn't know. I apologize. We're the dummies. We're the crash dummies out here. We're the stupid ones. Fine. We don't know what we're doing. But listen, if you are understanding everything that I'm saying here, we need to talk. Schedule some time. I'll be your coach. I'll teach you how not to waste time in this game. Because when you waste time, you be one of these old people that are miserable and bitter that I keep meeting nowadays. There's so many people that are older than me that are very bitter and very miserable. That'll be you if you keep wasting time and you don't go after it. Because they'll never tell you. All these things that I'm telling you, nobody is going to tell you. You think people want to see you doing good out here? Nah. They don't. They don't. What? No. Misery loves company. Do you hear me? Misery loves company. That's the first lesson you gotta learn. They want to drag you down to their level so you can stay there. So we can be miserable together, drink together, and enjoy our misery together. Cozy. It's a nice cozy bubble of misery. That's what they want you. Keep wasting time. If you're ready to work with the best, ready to start your business over here in Africa, or you're currently running your business here in Africa, you want to make sure things level up. You're tired. You're tired of catching L's. You're tired of taking those losses. Schedule time. Teach you how to get to the next level. Bless up. Talk to you soon. Oh, by the way, this is a paid consultation. Nothing free, okay? All right, bless.